Today I am designing a $150 flower arrangement as centerpiece. So it is March, the beginning of March, so I chose some spring florals. I've already got my stems counted out here for my value. I have already added my Floral Life flower food and my water to my container, and I am using chicken wire again as my grid to hold it in place. So even though, yep, it's going in a clear vase, a clear container, but by the time we get done with this, you're not going to be able to see this because the flower stems are going to go through it so many times. So usually on one this big, and I don't want to push it way down in there because I don't want it to be seen. I am going to use clear waterproof tape to tape across the top to hold that in place. Just so it doesn't go anywhere while we're moving around. All right, we're in there and we are ready to design. So I'm going to be using aspidistra as one of my greens in this arrangement, but instead of having it stick up like this, I want to give it a nice polished look, a bit of a higher end. So I'm going to use some of my mechanics to alter this. So what I'm going to use is, I personally like Oasis. I like Oasis everything, but Oasis U-Glue dashes. So I'm going to use Oasis U-Glue dashes. I'm just going to take one. So I'm going to take my aspidistra. So this is the shiny side, this is the back side, and it has a natural curve this way. So I'm going to curve it around. I'm going to use my U-Glue dash to hold this in place to secure it. So I've placed it because I've already kind of pre-measured where I want it. I've got my U-Glue dash on there. I'm folding it around. Now I'm just going to, whoop, sometimes that happens. Now I'm going to just hold it. I'm pressing in on that U-Glue dash to hold it in place. So that it's going to be really nice and secured. And now it's got a different look. So I can turn it this way and give it that look, or from the front, or even from the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that with my other ones. Now we've got them ready to use. So one of the greens that I'm going to be using is Italian ruscus. I like this because, especially for larger pieces, because it's long, it's full, it's definitely got a classy look, a garden vibe if you like those greens. So these are long. If I'm finding it's very long for what I'm going to use, a lot of times what I like to do, because we can't afford to waste anything, so no waste. So I will find what looks like a good spot to cut it down. I'm probably not going to find anywhere to use this in this arrangement. I may if I need to fill in with some greens, but I can definitely use this later in a smaller arrangement, in a smaller vase or in foam. So I'm going to put this in the side to put back in the cooler for later and work with this end. So I'm pulling off the lower stems because we do not want this greenery down in the water. When our greenery gets in the water, that causes bacteria. It also makes it look dirty, gross. We don't want that. So anything that's going in the water, we're always going to clear off the stem. Okay, so now I've got my regular grid made out of my chicken wire. I've also got down lower some grid starting with my greens. Now we're ready to add our base florals. I'm getting back out my alum. which is going to help my hydrangeas hold up better. My fluffier one I'm going to put in first. I want it to be a wee bit lower. Give it a cut. Either put it in some water or quick dip, something, dip it in my alum. There, so I think I'm going to put this hydrangea right here. Yep, I like that. I'm going to put one, same thing. And make sure I've got it at an angle so that it looks the way I want it to look. I'm pretty happy with that. With some full coverage blooms, I have my Alstroemeria, a small type of lily that I'm going to use. It fills in nicely. And these, even though they won't all, they're at different levels of blooming when I put them in. And that's fine, because what we want is it to look nice when they get it, but we want it to still look nice in a week from now. So as some that are already well bloomed might start closing back up, the ones that aren't as open are going to just be opening. And that makes a beautiful arrangement last as long as possible. I feel like I have a nice base of florals here that looks good from all angles. It's covered up my chicken wire, and so now we can add in a little more of the fun stuff. I'm going with some spray roses. I love spray roses because you get a lot on one stem, and instead of just being one big focal flower, you've got these pretty open, and it gives it more of a garden look. So I like that, and especially for spring. For spring, I definitely like something that looks more like it's growing in the garden. Sometimes I like my arrangements kind of tell a story, even if I'm the only one who knows it. So I like to think of these as this is my garden, and I've got all these beautiful flowers blooming from it. I'm gonna go right down through that hydrangea, just like these are just coming right out of there. I love how the blue and the yellow look together. Let's see how I'm doing so far. Okay, so now I'm going to add my lime flowers. So I'm going to put purple, going to put it in at an angle, because instead of going straight up, I want these to go out, kind of hanging over the side, giving it that airy garden vibe. Kind of nice, softer butter yellow one. I'm going to put in on the side. maybe not that much. Alright, now I'm just going to go in with these mini carns, and while no, they are not considered a higher end flower, carnations really get a bad rap for no reason. I love carnations, I love how fluffy they are, and the mini carns especially, they can give the same appearance as like a fluffy lisianthus or a sweet pea even. And I'm not going to be too picky about where these go. I just like them hanging out in there, filling in some spaces that may need it. Okay, so I'm done with all my main florals that are going in there. But now I want to add just a little bit more. I'm always loving it a little bit more. So there are some things that a little bit can go a long way. I am going to put in just a couple of stems of hypericum berries. I love hypericum berries, especially 2 times a year. I really love them. At Christmas, I love to use the red. And then in the spring, I love to use the pink, the salmon peachy color, and then the white. I just think the berries give it such a natural look, and I love that. So I don't need a lot of them. Just a little bit. Just that little bit adds something. Let's see where I want to put the other one. Right there. Right down in there. Okay, and last but not least, a little bit of baby's breath and limonium. I prefer limonium. This client does also like baby's breath, so sometimes I'll stick a little bit in there, not too much. Pulling these off. This is my limonium, and I'm just going to stick it throughout. I feel like the limonium really gives that gardeny vibe, especially for spring. And one stem of this goes a long way. It just needs to reach the water. It doesn't have to touch the bottom of the vase. Okay, I think I'm about done with her. I'm pretty satisfied. So here's my garden style spring centerpiece, valued at $150. Last but not least, I'm spraying it down with my Floral Life Crowning Glory as long as possible. All right, there she is. I love her. I hope my client does too.